After the RG Kaur rape and murder case that triggered outrage across India, another doctor has been killed at his place of work. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. The national capital woke up to the horrific reports of a doctor, Dr. Javed Akhtar, having been killed, shot dead at his place of work. What happened and why he was targeted is not clear. There are certain reports that suggest that the miners who killed him did a previous recce of the hospital as well, and that personal enmity of some kind outside of the scope of uh, purely medical reasons could have been at the center of why he was targeted. But questions are still mounting as to how a doctor can have such little security at where he works. Dr. Akhtar was only 55 years old. In the meantime, in Kolkata, junior doctors are back to protesting. This as a statue commemorating the memory of the victim of RG Kaur is unveiled. The statue has triggered different responses, all kinds of responses, in fact. But why are junior doctors protesting again? Well, they are protesting because there was another doctor who was manhandled by angry relatives of a patient, and the junior doctors made the point that not enough or not much at all has changed since RG Kaur. To talk about the horrific shootout that has taken place in the capital and also talk about what doctors are thinking, what the medical community is thinking, let me introduce our guest on the program today, Dr. Suvrankar Datta. He's, of course, the president of FAIMA. He's also at the All India Medical Institute. Thank you, Dr. Datta. We've, of course, been talking to you regularly through the RG Core crisis. Let's start with what's happened in Delhi. I understand that some details are still hazy. We don't actually know why this doctor was targeted, who were these miners, reported to be miners at least, who targeted him. They're believed to have conducted a recce previously also and have come back to target him. So maybe they weren't angry patients. We don't know. We're awaiting details. But the fact remains that the doctor was not safe at his place of work. What is the sentiment right now in the medical community? A 55-year-old doctor has just been killed, shot to death at his place of work.
Barkha, thank you for having me on your show. I want to tell you how shocked we were when we woke up today morning to this news. We had got a WhatsApp message on our groups that one of the doctors of our very own capital of the country has been brought to the trauma center of AIIMS, who was shot dead point blank in his own hospital. Immediately, all the associations all across the country had reached out to us at what exactly has happened, because this is another murder of a doctor at his own workplace.
Mhm.
Even after the RG Core incident, we have seen throughout the last few months, there has been no decrease in the amount of violence which has occurred in the hospitals across the country in various states. Every single day, we get a complaint at FAIMA regarding some kind of incident at a hospital. We have seen how residents are going in mass resignation in Meerut after one of their junior residents was beaten up and hit on his head by angry mob in the hospital premises. Similar incidents have happened all across the country, even in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and various other places, even after the Arjikor incident. It culminated today in the murder of one of our own colleagues in his own hospital. It basically shows that there is absolutely no security in any healthcare setup in this country, be it a small hospital, be it a large hospital or an institute. And the reason is very clear, is that there is no clear cut guideline that a minimum amount of security has to be maintained in the hospitals set by either the state government or the central government. We have been fighting and asking.
Who should be providing this security? For instance, if we take what happened today, Dr. Akhtar was killed at a hospital called the Nima Hospital. It is a private hospital. Is it incumbent upon the hospital to provide the security? Who should be providing the security?
Yes. So you know that we have been fighting for the Central Protection Act, which is a central
Yes.
legislation, right? Which we expect the central
Yes.
government to pass. So these acts have in them the provision of mandatory security across various hospital setups depending on the number of beds, the kind of setup in which it works. As long as there is no mandate given by a law for any hospital owner, be it private, be it semi private, or even the government setups, there will be absolutely no change in the pathetic security structure which currently is existing in the country in various setups. That was the major reason why we always wanted that there has to be a central law which mandates everyone to have a minimum security. However, we have seen that even after the formation of the National Task Force, there has been absolutely no significant difference in most of the hospitals across the country, and that is the
So
reason
what?
we are, yeah.
Yeah, no, and of course, what's happened in the national capital today is very disturbing, irrespective of what the motivation is of the men who came in. They came in on the, I'm saying men, but they're reported to be teens. The teens who came in on the pretext of getting a dressing done. So they came in as patients and they shot this doctor. What is the discussion, ongoing discussions now in the RDA groups, in the medical community after what has happened in Delhi?
Right. So each individual RDA is now having their executive body and general body meetings to figure out the sentiment which is there in their own hospitals among the residents. Similarly, different associations like the IMA and DMA, I have been in touch with both of them. They are also having their own discussions regarding how they are planning to respond to that. From FAIMA, we have been in touch with all the RDAs across the country, and the emotions in the RDAs, the executives or a member of FAIMA, it's very clear that they have decided that we are reaching a point beyond which we cannot tolerate anymore. And we have called for a executive body meeting tonight to discuss whether we are going to once again accept this as an unfortunate incident, or we are going to do something about it and come on the roads once again in our demand for the Central Protection Act for our security.
So doctors are considering street protests, going back to street
Absolutely.
protests.
Absolutely.
Now, in Kolkata, that has already happened. In fact, if we can play the images on Gandhi Jayanti, you had doctors leading a march. And the junior doctors are back to ceasing work. This is after what we've seen happened at the Sagar Datta hospital, where a doctor was assaulted after the death of a patient. Uh, how do you respond to what's happening in Kolkata? Because the fact that junior doctors are not just out on the streets, but that they've decided to cease work again, this is of course met with varying responses. How do you see it?
Right. Um, I think most importantly, right now, Sagar Datta is a very well-known hospital in Kolkata,
Yeah.
and a repeat of the incident which has happened in Arjikor, in terms that it also shows the lack of security in a prominent hospital of the country, right? And I personally feel that it just glaringly shows how indifferent the government has been to improving the security in the hospitals significantly, because they have failed to act upon or prevent another violence in the very own state in which a protest has been happening because of lack of security.
So do you agree with the decision by the junior doctors?
Absolutely. I think you cannot push someone to the wall and then expect that they are not going to hit you back.
Now, all of this has happened even as a statue commemorating the memory of the RG Kaur rape and murder victim was unveiled today on the college campus. It's a kind of cry for help, a moment trying to seeking to capture the trauma of the victim. Different people have had different opinions on this capture. But my question to you is, do you feel that people have moved on? Except for the junior doctors in Kolkata, it's fallen off in a way the national headlines. People are not looking at this case. Are you concerned about the fact that justice may never be served in that case?
I think that's a wrong statement, because if you have seen a day back, it was Mahalaya, the first day of Durga Puja, which is
Yes.
celebrated in huge, in a big way in West Bengal. There were protests by the common citizens across the state, across the city, in various places. In fact, Mahalaya was celebrated to get justice for Abhaya by citizens groups across the city. In fact, my mother was one of the people who was leading one of the citizens protests in South Kolkata.
Yeah.
So I am very well aware that citizens are still with the junior doctors, and this has not died to any extent in West Bengal. And I would also want you to know that even at the national stage, all RDAs are very closely in touch with the West Bengal Junior Doctors Forum. And at any point of time wherein we feel that they need us, they need our support, and justice is not being given either by the court or by the government, we will again come back on the roads as we have promised them in the press meet as well. We will be coming back and joining them in solidarity. For now, we are deciding on our next further step of action to prevent violence in our executive body in FAIMA, and we'll update you what we decide.
Just before we let you go, how would you describe the mood in the medical community today with the news of a doctor being killed, a doctor being manhandled at Sagar Datta, justice still elusive in the RG Kaur rape and murder case? How would you describe the mood in the medical community?
Everyone is infuriated right now because the medical community has been taken for granted for a very, very long time. And we feel that this is it. If we do not step up and do something to ensure security in our workplaces, then our future generations will have to suffer. And it is up to us right now to rectify the indifference which has been shown to us by the governments for decades and ensure that we have a safe working environment to work in.
A very disturbing day indeed. Dr. Datta, we let you go now. We'll await the decision that all of you reach collectively after a doctor only in his 50s has been killed at his place of work, and medical community across India reiterating their demand for a central legislation that mandates security for medical staff and health workers at hospitals across India. Thank you and stay safe. Thanks for talking to us. Thank you. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.